All right, here is the 2.1 through 2.6 skill check quiz. Make sure. Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so number one is just a one-step equation. Negative 7x equals negative 42. Good. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. X equals, don't hesitate to use your calculator, negative 42 divided by negative 7 is 6. Or you can just say 42 divided by 7 is 6. Negative divided by negative is a positive. X equals 6. Good. The solution is 6. Good. All right, here we have 5/7 x equals negative 15. All right, this is the same as saying 5x over 7 equals negative 15. Okay, so I want you to know that 5/7 x is the same as 5x over 7. Okay, 1/4 x is the same as x over 4. Right? The x is always being multiplied by the top of the fraction divided by the bottom of the fraction. So x times 5 divided by 7. Okay, 7 is the bottom of the fraction, no matter whether it's here or here, this format or that format, it's being divided by 7. To get rid of the fraction, multiply by the denominator. Okay, if there are two different denominators, find something that they will both, that they can both be, that can be divided by both of them. Okay, so here it's 5 divided by 7x. The bottom is 7, so I'm going to multiply by 7. Anything I do to this side, I have to do to this side. All right, 7 times 5x over 7 now looks like, I guess I shouldn't draw an equal sign because we already have an equal sign. So that's going to be 7 times 5x over 7, right? Equals, now we're going to take negative 15, multiply it by 7. Negative 15 times 7 is negative 105. All right, 7 times 5 becomes 35x over 7, right? Equals negative 105. If I take 35 and divide it by 7, I get 5. So now that's 5x equals negative 105. I want you to notice something though. I said 7 times 5 is 35, and then I had to divide it by 7, and I ended up back at 5. So if you see these factors, 7 times a quantity over 7, you can cancel the 7 and the 7 and just go straight to the what's left over. Okay, that's why we multiplied it by 7, so you could cancel those out. Or you can multiply them and divide them. Either way, okay? Now I'm going to solve for x by dividing by a positive 5. Negative 105 divided by 5 becomes negative 21. So my answer is x is negative 21. Good. Number 3, I might need more room, so I'm going to write it over here. We have 9x minus 6x plus 6 equals x minus 9 plus 15. Okay. 9x minus 6x is 3x plus 6 equals x negative 9 plus 15. That's the same as 15 minus 9. It's just 6, okay? It's a positive 6, so I'm going to say plus 6. So 3x plus 6 equals x plus 6. Now, I want to move my x's over here, so I'm going to subtract x, subtract x. I'm going to get 3x minus x is 2x plus 6 equals 6. Good. Now I'm going to subtract 6, subtract 6. 2x equals 0. All right. Don't stop now. There's nothing wrong with 0. 0 is still a number. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 0. My answer is x equals 0. It's not no solution. It's not every number. It's just 0. Good. Number 4, 7t over 12 minus t over 4 equals 1. 7t over 12 minus t over 4 equals 1. All right, before up here, we said 5x over 7 is going to be multiplied by 7. So that means I need to multiply it by 4, and I need to multiply it by 12, right? Because 12 on the top will cancel out 12 on the bottom, 4 on the top will cancel out 4 on the bottom, but 12 divided by 12 is 1, and then 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I don't need to do 12 and 4. I need to find the greatest common factor of 12, or sorry, the greatest common denominator of 12 and common multiple of 12 and 4 to find a denominator that we can multiply everything by, okay? So I can take 12 divided by 12, I can take 12 divided by 4. So I'm going to use the number 12. So now that's 12 times 1 times 12 over 1, sorry, times 7t over 12 minus 12 over 1 times t over 4 equals 12 times 1. Okay, I put it over 1 because I'm multiplying it by fractions, so that's easier to see. Here, 1 is not a fraction, so I'm not leaving it as a fraction, but 12 over 1 we know is just 12, so I can write it either way. That means we have 12 times 7t over 12 minus 12 times t over 4 equals 12, right? So remember, we can either cancel these now and just call it 7t, or we can say 12 times 7 is 84t over 12 minus 12t over 4 equals 12. And you see how now we have a bigger number on top, smaller number on the bottom, bigger number on top, smaller number on the bottom. We're just going to divide them. 84 divided by 12 becomes 7, just like it did when we canceled them. And then 12 divided by 4 becomes 3. So now we have 7t, carry the minus, 3t equals 12. Okay, so we multiplied by 12 because I can take 12 and divide it by 12. I can take 12 and divide it by 4. Your smallest number you can think of that you can divide by 12 and divide by 4 and get a whole number is what you're going to multiply everything by. Okay, 7 minus 3 is 4. So now I have 4t equals 12. I'm going to divide by 4. And t is 3. Five says the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 159. Find the integers. So consecutive means they're one after the other, right? 1, 2, and 3 are consecutive. So 1, if I was to put them into x values, if 1 is equal to x, 2 is equal to x plus 1, right? And 3 is equal to x plus 2 because I've put them in order. I have my first number. To get my next consecutive number, I just add 1. To get my next consecutive number after that, I add 2 to that original number. Okay, because consecutive just means one after the other. So I know that the sum is 159. So I have x plus 1, and x plus 2. Good. And I know that they're going to sum to 159. Sum means I'm adding them. X and x plus 1 and x plus 2 is equal to 159. Good. That's my equation for 3 consecutive integers. First integer, Next integer, I add 1 because it's consecutive. Next integer, I add 2 because it's the third consecutive number. Now I just combine like terms. X plus x plus x becomes 3x. And then 1 plus 2 becomes 3 equals 159. Good. Let's subtract that 3 to solve for x now. Good. 159 minus 3 is 156 because 9 minus 3 is 6 equals 3x. 156 divided by 3 is 52. So we have 52 is equal to x. Good. All right, 52 is equal to x. So they want to know the 3 consecutive integers are 52. What comes after 52? 53. What comes after 53? 54. Okay. Or I knew that they were x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. X, x plus 1, and x plus 2. X is 52. X plus 1 is 53. 52 plus 1 is 53. 52 plus 2 is 54. All right, 6 says, in the last year, a total of 13,847 earthquakes occurred in the county. 88.9% were minor with magnitudes of 4.9 or less. How many minor earthquakes occurred last year? Okay, so we have 13,847 is 100% of the earthquakes, right? 88.9% of the earthquakes is how many of the earthquakes. Remember, when you're changing a percent to a decimal, you move the decimal place 2 places, 1, 2. So 100% becomes the number 1. 88.9 becomes the number 0.889. Okay. 13847. 100% of 13847 is just 13847 times 1, right? 13847. 100% of it is, we multiplied it by 1. If I need 88.9%, I multiply it by 0.889, and I get 1, 2, 3, I'm going to call it, what did they say? Round to the nearest whole number. The nearest whole number were 12309. 0.9 is 12310. Good. Because 0.9 rounds up to 10. 7 says graph the solution set of the inequality and write it in interval notation. X such that -13 is less than or equal to x. I don't like looking at it this way. I like it when x is on the other side. So I'm going to call that x is greater than or equal to -13. Okay, so I just read it backwards. X is greater than or equal to -13. -13 is less than or equal to x. So I know that because of this, it's not going to be parentheses. It's going to be a bracket, right? X is greater than, you can turn that into an arrow. Greater than is that way. Okay, so it's going to be a bracket and the arrow is going to the right. That means it's D. In interval notation, I just copy down my picture, okay? Write a bracket, the number 13, an arrow in the right-hand direction is just infinity. Infinity always has parentheses, never a bracket. All right, graph the set of numbers in interval notation, write the inequality statement describing the numbers graphed. So we have -infinity to -9. Here I said infinity is an arrow that way, -infinity is an arrow that way. Okay, so it's not A, it's not C. It's going infinitely, it's getting infinitely smaller. Okay. And then it says -9 and it's parentheses. It's not a bracket, it's a parentheses. So it's not B, it's D. All right, and then the inequality is x is, there's no equal to because equal to means brackets. Okay, so it's either x is greater than or x is less than. If it's going in that direction, that means it's the less than symbol. Okay, that direction means the less than symbol. Just like the arrow goes that way, the less than arrow goes that way. The less than symbol goes that way. Good. So we have x is less than, not equal to. Okay, x is less than, what was our number? -9. Good. And it might want x such that x is less than -9. And let's just, I'm going to just for practice sake, describe each of these, right? So this would be -9 to infinity. This would be -9 to infinity. This would be the one we found, -infinity, or sorry, to -9. It's not the one we found because it has a bracket. Here's the one we found, -infinity to -9 with parentheses, right? How would we write each of these? So this is an arrow going this way. So we're going to say x is greater than -9. Here, the arrow is going this way. So we're going to say x is less than -9, but it has a bracket. Because of the bracket, we're going to say less than or equal to. All right, this had parentheses, so there's no equal to. This has a bracket, so there's an equal to. Here, we say x is, what direction is the arrow going? Greater than, right? -9. Because of that bracket, we're going to put an equal sign under it. And here's the one we already graphed. X is, which direction is the arrow going? That way. X is less than -9. Number 9 asks us to solve the inequality, graph the solution, and write it in interval notation. So we have 6x minus 6 is less than or equal to 5x minus 4. Remember, it's just like if these were equal signs, except if you multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the sign. That's the only difference, all right? So 6x here, 5x here. I'm going to move the 5x because I don't want my x to be negative. It's inconvenient. More opportunities for mistakes. So I'm going to move my x over here. 6x minus 5x is just x. Everything else stays the same. -6, -4. Good. Now I'm going to add 6, add 6. Good. That's now x is less than or equal to -4 plus 6 is 2. Good. X is less than or equal to 2. Because of that equal to, we know it's going to be a bracket. Okay. These all have brackets, so it can't be A, right? X is less than or equal to 2. Less than means the arrow is going in the negative direction, okay? This arrow is going in a negative direction. That one is not, so it can't be B. There are no arrows here, and there is nothing here. So it's either everything or it's x is less than or equal to 2. Here's the 2 on the number line. X is less than or equal to 2. Good. And then they want interval notation. Look at the graph I chose. -infinity to 2. The 2 has a bracket. The 2 has a bracket because of this equal sign. Okay. Number 10. Again, they want us to solve the inequality. Here we have 3 is less than 4x minus 5, which is less than 11. Good. Add 5, add 5, add 5. So this is just like the other one we did, but there are now 3 sides. This side, the middle, sorry, left side, middle, right side. Good. 3 times 3 plus 5 is 8. Negative 5 plus 5 cancels out. 11 plus 5 is 16. Good. So I have 8 is less than 4x is less than 16 because I added 5 to the left, the middle, and the right side. Good. Now I'm just going to divide all 3 sides by 4. 8 divided by 4 becomes 2. 4 divided by 4 just becomes x. 16 divided by 4 becomes 4. So that means 2 is less than x is less than 4. There's no equal to, okay? So we're not going to use a bracket. Brackets are for when you have the equal to symbol below the less than or the greater than. And it's limited, right? So we have x is greater than 2, right? Is the same as 2 is less than x, right? I just flipped the direction. So I have x is greater than 2. So starting at 2 in the greater than direction. Right? And I have x is less than 4. So that means less than is that way, right? Sorry. Here's 2. Here's 4. X is greater than 2. X is less than 4. Greater than 2, less than 4. So if I was to write this all as 1, it would be beginning at 2, ending at 4, everything in between. Okay? This is 2 is less than x is less than 4. All right. Another example. If it looked like this instead of this, then that would be 2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. Good. So that would be 2 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. This would be 2 is less than x is less than 4. This one would just be x is less than 4. And this would just be x is greater than 2. So our answer is C. In interval notation, you just copy down what your graph says. So it started with a parentheses at 2, and it ended with a parentheses at 4. Now we're on to absolute value. So the absolute value equation, the absolute value of 2x minus 3 is equal to 7. Good. When you have an absolute value equation, to get rid of the absolute value bars, you want to isolate the absolute value. So 2x minus 3 is now alone on one side, and there is a 7 on the other side. Good. All right. Now that it's isolated, this could be either a positive 7 or a negative 7, right? So we're going to rewrite them as 2 separate equations. 2x minus 3 is 7, and 2x minus 3 is negative 7. Now I don't have the bars, and I have 2 equations, so there's going to be 2 different x values that are both true. I'm just going to solve both sides for, or both equations for x. So I'll add 3. 7 plus 3 is 10. So 2x is 10. Divide by 2. X is 5. Good. Same thing over here. Add 3. Add 3. It's just a little bit different because now it's a negative 7. Negative 7 plus 3 is a negative 4, right? Divide by 2. divide by 2, x is -2. All right, you can plug both of those back into your original equation. The absolute value of 2 times 5 minus 3 is 7. 2 times 5 is 10 minus 3 is equal to 7. The absolute value of 7 is 7. That one is true. Here we have -2. So the absolute value of 2 times -2 minus 3 is equal to 7. 2 times -2 is -4 minus 3 equal to 7. Absolute value of -7 equals 7. That is also true. Good. Okay. So the solution set is -2 and 5. They're -2 and 5 are both true. 12, our last one is the absolute value of x is -5. There is no solution because remember, absolute value is always a distance. There's no distance that is -5.